I've entered a long trade on dollar CAD. My drawn liquidity is up there, but initial drawn liquidity is going to be here, which is where I'll take target ones, and then the next one is up there somewhere. The entry was based on this 618 pullback after price displaced up and started to accumulate. I've entered as price has tapped into the 618 retracement. However, price didn't. I had placed orders which price didn't trigger, so I entered manually. Quite a conservative stops. Placed stops below these lows because I honestly don't want price to come and take out these lows where I've taken the pullback from, although it shouldn't. So let's just break down the trade from the higher time frame. My second drawn liquidity is that weekly time frame, fair value gaps, consequent encroachment, just there. For me, on the daily time frame, we have started some small bullish order flow, especially after taking some lows, some liquidity, although I do believe there's liquidity down to it's quite low, because on monthly time frame my drawn liquidity will be right here. However, on the daily time frame, the way price has been playing out, I anticipate price to at least take out the high from Friday. Yesterday we left this strong bullish fair value gap, especially after price, Friday price took out the lows from the week and then displaced up, and since then price has yesterday pulled into this fair value gap on the 240 time frame with this strong bearish engulfing candle, which has failed to follow through, and then restarted the bullish run. So essentially, to me, this is price taking out liquidity off this low, which is clear on the 1 hour time frame. This is a liquidity grab, and then it starts to displace up, and we've been displacing with fair value gaps along the way. So this is if you look at the 60-minute, right, we came down, held this fair value gap once, pushed up, closed below. Although closed below that 50%, we still started to displace up, and then pulled back, held this order blocks 50%. I'm gonna get rid of this fair value gaps. See this order blocks 50%, and then displaced with fair value gaps yesterday evening, and then pulled back, held that fair value gap again, took out liquidity on lower time frames, which is clearer, which was during the London session, and ideally I should have taken that trade during London session, which I missed out on. So that's the liquidity grab right there on London session. Price pulled back and then displaced again. New York session is displacing up, and we formed the fair value gap on the 15-minute time frame, where price started to came down, pushed up. It's ranging right now, accumulating, took out liquidity, which also happens to be just above that 618 retracement, and then I took my entry right there at around 618 level. And let's see how this plays out. That was such a beautiful trade. It played out to the T, and not only did it hit my target where I had my targets right there, it pushed up all the way to the weekly time frame fair value gaps, consequent encroachment. That's the first fair value gap in a series of 3 fair value gaps candles on the weekly time frame. So I did have prediction that price would potentially pull up to that level, but because with CPI coming out tomorrow, I wasn't sure whether we were going to consolidate after and then push up tomorrow. But it looks like we pushed up to the weekly time fair value gap. Not only that, we also pushed up to this order block and tapped, pretty much found resistance at the highs of that order block. So yeah, the good trade. Risk reward could have been higher, yeah, so I took target. It's right there, right, these highs. This trade felt like one of the easiest trade I've taken, especially whenever this price action plays out, where there is strong displacement after taking out some liquidity. We have liquidity around here. Ideally we could push down to these lows. However, we started to see strong displacement on the daily time frame. Right, with the way price closed that candle on Friday and the way Monday played out, it was evident that we were pushing up higher to fill in some of these fair value gaps. It would have been nice to see the Monday's low been taken out before entry. However, the way price played out, we made a swing low, inside this strong bullish fair value gap, and started to displace up on the 1 hour time frame with further fair value gaps. We also held this order block that took out this liquidity. Price came down, held the 50%, pushed up, displaced with bullish fair value gaps, pulled back, held those fair value gaps, displaced up again with fair value gaps, pulled in, held those fair value gaps, and during New York session, I spotted this price coming into this fair value gap on the 15-minute after finding support. After rejecting New York open, it started to push up, and my entry was at the fair value gap, and my targets were, I believe I got around, my stops were quite low, 1.2 or 1.3 R from this trade. Could have been much higher, right? Could have been at least to this fair value gap. I could have gotten 2.75, but I'll take that win for now. And that's my trade journal.